Good morning, peoples. It is Bruce with Targeted Wealth Creation, and we are here for Misty led SMCY, a few others in Group D as in dog. All right. So let's get started. These things, it is the weekend, right? So I'm doing it based on Friday's closing price for yield based on my estimates. The other thing to note is that they declare this Wednesday, as always with the group A's, B's, C's, and D's, 924. So if anything on this estimate or on the actuals, you need to buy before 925. And sometimes if you buy in the after hours of 924, you don't get it. You need to ask your broker about that. That's, in my opinion, always taking a chance. So I always buy during regular hours or pre-hours on ex-dividend date if I want something and haven't already owned it. All right, guys. So, and then payday is always on Fridays on the groups for YieldMax. All right, so let's jump in here. Let's start with Aptly. And what do we see? And somebody always asks, and it's a reasonable question. How do you go about doing your estimate? Well, in some cases, I literally track at the forensic level. What did they do on the 4 weekly periods of selling calls and selling call spreads? Okay, and then obviously on the synthetic. So, and then I take a look to actually show you what is the current on the book synthetics value. Hasn't been closed out, but do they have a bunch of money there? Because it does matter, but they don't necessarily pay off that. But if you have a loss there, you didn't make anything on any of the weeklies in the synthetics, then very likely they're going to pay you near or at the IV. And if that's a really high IV and it's trending down, then they may not even pay you that amount. So at the end of the day, sadly, it's complicated. I've been sure many times I was going to get a $5 or $6 Pulte payout only to find myself getting $2.50 and being really pissed. Well, I don't just really get pissed. I vote with my feet. I take my money and put my money where it's treated best. So don't mess with my money. You can mess with me, but you can't mess with my money. My money, my money, my money. Okay. So let's jump into Aptly. What is Aptly going to pay? And then how did it do? Well, first off, I always have the last price, right? That means the previous period. So on these monthlies, that's going back 28 calendar days, right? So Aptly was 1344. We're now at 1357. So it's gone up a percent. Okay. It did make some money in addition to that on its weeklies, right? So it made some money there. Let's take a look at the synthetic Aptly. All right. So I've got them at $2.32 in paper profit on the books. Okay. It hasn't been closed out. So, you buy a $4 stock, it's currently trading at $6. Well, at $6 is real. Your purchase is real at 4. You really have a $2 profit, but you haven't taken the profit. So if the stock goes up another dollar, now you got a $3 profit. Stock goes down a dollar, you only have a $1 profit, right? So when you take it off the table, when you complete a sale based on a buy, then you have an actual gain, what we call a booked gain, right? In the house, done, right? Now you can buy it again, and and now you're taking risk with your money again. But that's how it works. That's why we say on the books, as opposed to where they closed out a long synthetic and rolled into a new one. Well, whether that was a gain or loss, that was an actual plus or minus in the books. Okay, a debit or a credit. All right, so they stand at $2.32. how do I know that and how do I even look at it? Well, they have a put, right? Some of these higher volume and more popular funds will have two and sometimes even three different puts. So currently, Apple has an October 17th, 205. So the nature of a synthetic long in these funds is one of the ways that they make money. They tend to hold these things for 2 to 4 to 6 weeks, and they go out and instead of buying the underlying. So this is aptly with the underneath being Apple. So at the time when they bought this, they bought it expiring on 10/17. Well, that's close to 30 days away, 25 days away. So another 3 weeks, and they sold a 205 put. So what they want to do is they want Apple 205. They want to be above that 205 price, which they are because this price is so low, right? It's 22 cents. So they're well above that. And then they buy a call, right? The synthetic requires they sell a put and buy a call. Each individual transaction is a positive, it's a bet on long. So it's two bets on a long. It's like a double long. Not really leverage like 120%, but it's just a way to go. The same as really owning the stock. The only reason they sell the put when they buy the call is to cheapen what they had to put out for the call. So it makes it less. So they can use 5, 10, 12% of all their money and get leverage by using options. And get around where the SEC says, hey, you can't have more than 25% of your investment capital in any single stock. Well, they don't. They put 5, 6, 8, 10, 12, 15% by using options, right? So I can buy an option on a $200 strike for $10, $12, but if I buy the actual stock, it's 200. So they are at $41, which says with 3 weeks remaining, the stock, without even looking at a chart, the stock's probably around 220. So they probably got $18 to $20 in premium left over the 3 weeks. And the other is just how much above the 205 they are. So, and then this guy, by being up at 220, 222, whatever the current price is, right? Then this becomes almost worthless. The option people are saying, hey, it's only worth 22 cents. So if they were to close this position, which they could do right now really readily, they'd only have to spend $143,579 to close it, and they would collect 250, 2,591,000. So they would make a pretty penny, which works out on 11,125,000 shares, $2.32. But again, could that dissipate? Could that go away with a downturn in Apple? You bet. But it's worth something. It says to me they're going to pay a good amount on Apple. So let's see my logic here. Well, they've paid 26. Let's go back a few months, right? So they've paid 30. Oh, there's a big one. 65 cents, 31, 26, 43, 43, and they dropped on the last payment of August to 34. What do I have them at? I think I got up to 50 cents. Let's take a look. Yeah, I did. And they also went up on their NAV a little. Now, could it be 47, 48, 49? Yeah. Is it more than likely above 44? Yeah. Okay. So let's take a look at AMC. So AMC is down. AMC made no real money. Let's take a look at AMC's current. Oh, that's Apple. Oh, guys, I messed up somewhere. Oh, maybe my Apple is my AMZ. No, I got two, two apples. I'm gonna have to go get the AMZ again. I had it. I don't know why it got messed up. But I'll do that while I got you here. On a second monitor. Here we go. Apply. Oh, sorry, Amazon. Yeah, I already did Apply. I think Amazon lost money. I think it's one that where it says no gain. I can look at it instantly when I download it here and see that. And I don't even bother to calculate the loss amount anymore because you just want to know if they have a gain. And I recall, I just did this an hour ago. I recall they don't. Whoops. Okay, I found it. AMZ, you made a little bit. 658.19. You got 88 cents. All right, better than I thought. There it was. All right, so 88 cents on the books, not closed out. You didn't really make any money on your weeklies. So I've got them, and they lost 135, but that 135%, right? They went from 1560 to call it 1540, 1539. So 21 cents month over month, right? 28 days over 28 days they dropped. So I probably have them with 80. I probably have them in the 40s here for a payment. Let's take a look. 46. I got them down from the last two. Could they do 48? Sure. But I think with this drop that they won't. All right, let's look at Disney. All right, they're down larger, right? We start trending down 4%, 7%, a couple fours, a 7. These ones aren't bad. And then Apple is the apple of my eye tonight with the only gain in the upper quadrant, right, on the monthly pairs. So let's take a look at Disso. Now, Disso, why do I click on these and I get the old one? I know I closed a bunch out. I cannot figure that out, guys. What? Oh, this is coming on this screen. That's I'm overlooking on my second screen and it's coming right up to overlay here. Yeah, losing money. Okay, Disso. See you later, alligator. Okay, so Disso didn't make any money in its synthetic. All right, I think I have them right in between these, maybe close to this, down 4.64. Let's take a look. Oh, I dropped them pretty good. Dropped them almost down to here. They got nothing on the books that they can plan on closing. So not a particular good period, 28-day period for Disney. So what are the yields so far? Our yield is 47.90 on Apple, 38.86 on Amazon, okay, and 27.63 on Disney. How about XYZY, right? The block. I think I split the difference here, guys. I recall doing that. They're down big on 70. They had some money in their synthetic. That's a tough one. So I just split the difference here. It's really a guess. I don't like this. I don't see a lot of money. So I went with 50 cents. Could it be lower? Yeah, could be. Could it be a little higher? Maybe. All right, AIYY. Look at this. Getting down. Last price 279. It's dropping, but not by much. Right, 276. So I think I'm in this 12 or 13 cents. Uh, they did not have any real money ready to be closed out. So I got them at 12 and a half cents. Up from last time, even with only a 1% NAV going down. All right, let's take a look at Misty, guys. Now, to me, this is everything. Now, here's what I wanted to do. I wanted to say they're going to pay $1. Are they ready yet to break the dollar barrier? And why I make such a big deal about Misty is all the fanboys. How many people have put Misty in the title, done a video, and got 5, 8, 10,000 views? I got to tell you, a lot. YouTuber go out and make money just by putting Misty in the title forever and ever and ever since it's been around. As it got more popular, more people got in. And then what happened to Misty? Well, it's really what happened to MicroStrategy. Okay. Now, bounced up this last week, one of the best moves I've seen in MicroStrategy, but a week doesn't change a fund, right? It would a weekly, but it doesn't in a monthly fund. That's why when I see Round Hill have a fund with their leverage, which I never buy a fund unless I'm bullish on it. So if I'm bullish, why wouldn't I want 120% leverage? So for me, and I used to say, week's not that big a deal. Well, when I got in the fund, I realized it was a big deal because now I can react. I got to wait a month in Pulte to see that YieldMax pissed me off and didn't pay much out. I don't have to wait a month to see that in Round Hill. Okay. Not beating up. I'm just telling you the truth, guys. So, what are they going to pay? I'm actually for the first time gonna go on record and say under $1, not because I'm trying to be correct. I'm just tired of giving in to what they're going to do because they need to support the fanboys and all the people that have bought Misty, and they don't want to put another nail in the coffin. It's already a nail in the coffin with a lot of people with their NAV is well below what people own average price of Misty, right? You got to be a real believer if you're buying in large quantity here while you still own at 20 and 25 and 27 and things like that. And you'd have to be a day trader or a swing trader every 2 or 3 days to keep your price down into the 16s. Now, unless you're somebody just brand new that came along, oh, maybe it's a great time to buy. Well, is it? I don't know. I'm bullish on BTC, but Misty hasn't shown me that MicroStrategy can run. All right, Bruce, just tell me the damn amount. Okay, I will. I kind of did, right? I kind of told you. I'm going to go with 91 cents. Now, I think they could pay anywhere from 85 to 110, 105, 108. But I think they might just come in at like I don't think they'll do $1 even. Then everybody will know that they just did the dollar to not break the dollar barrier. But you got to remember, that's a long time Misty's been in existence. But what is happening here? 4 weeks ago, it was 1733. It's now 1604. It's been in the 15s, at least popped back up a little. So, should they pay $1? Hell no. Might they? Yeah. So I'm hoping to get it right when nobody else dares say below $1. But I'm going to say below $1. And maybe they'll pay $1.08 just to piss me off again. Nah, it won't piss me off. I'm laughing, guys. So there you go. It's a guess. SMCY. And when I say that, let me show you a couple things on Misty. I didn't just pull this out of what. Here is my triple, right? Here's one that's how big the fund is and how much assets under management they still have. I don't even look at the number anymore because I don't really care. I don't own it, right? But I probably should to report to you guys how much has it dropped over the last 6 months. It got to 4 billion, right? It got to 38% of all of YieldMax. But I'm not here to kick YieldMax when they're down. They're down. I don't want to kick them when they're down, you know. So they lost 79 cents on one, made 40 on one, made 3 cents. And what I mean by one is they're all different strike prices. This is a 410 for October 17th. This is 1121, 330, and this is a 345 on 1121. So they're making a little bit of money on the 1121s and they're still losing here. So altogether, they're losing 35 cents. So where are they getting the dollar to pay you? It's coming out of your money that you're buying the fund with. So having said that, I'm going to stick with 91 cents. But I wanted to show you that, guys. I don't want you to think that I'm not pulling data to do this and I'm just totally guessing. But, down 744, not making any money. Where's the money coming from? It's coming out of what you're paying for it, right? It's what the real return of capital is. All right, so SMCY. We'll not uncover it till we talk about it. So, by the way, that's still a 73.75, right? I only have two higher in here. I have an 85 here at SMCY and I have winter at 100%. So let's take a look. SMCY down 4.8, went from 1667 to 1587. So down about 80 cents. It's down $1.33. Okay. So I got it paying less, but again, they probably will pay $1 or $1. But let's see. All right. So SMCY. Sorry, on Misty, guys, not on this one. I got $1.04. I don't think they haven't broke the dollar barrier here. As a matter of fact, they're $1.30, $1.34, $1.85, $1.61, $1.57, but they're coming down. I think they're now they probably, if this happens, this will be interesting. If Misty pays $1, $1, $1, I think they'll pay a hair more in SMCY. If this breaks below $1, then I think they're going to keep this above $1. Just my gut. All right, YQQ. Nothing happening there. Down 428. Let's take a look, guys. Let me wrap this up. Well, it would be nice if I could do that. What is wrong? There we go. 18 cents. So not quite split, a little bit, not having a good time. I looked, didn't make any money on its current puts, right? Or what we would refer to as their synthetic. Although it's different, right, on these inverse funds, but it's still a synthetic. All right, let's take a look at winter. Winter was down 117, but Winter made some money. I had Winter making over $5. So I think Winter goes up. Even though they're down here, they made more money than last month. And when you've made it and closed it, you can pay it. They don't always do that. They shocked me back with YBit. But I got them paying about 254. I guess it's going to be higher than this. I guess it's going to be somewhere between 230 and 280. And this thing is still a $33. I mean, it's barely down. It's still a big stock. So I got it just at 100%. They like to have some 100% payer. Could they just do a 99? Sure. But that's my best guess, guys. All right, let me jump in and do a couple of these at a time. YMAX and YMAG. Let's knock them out. I got 13 cents. Who cares? Who buys this crap? I mean, some of you do, but it's crap. The mag wasn't. Mag didn't used to be crap, but it will become crap. YMAX is just, you buy into the, oh, it's protection. Yeah, versus a single stock, it has a variety. But you got all the turds with a few winners, right? You got 80% Navi rotors to the max and lousy funds. And you got maybe 10 to 14% of good funds, the right ones to buy right now. So that's not my approach. I don't want to be average in anything I do. All right. So Leffigy, what are we going to get? And then YMAG, I got 8 cents. All right. So Leffigy, let's take a look. Let's do two of these. Let's do Leffigy and Gaputi. No surprise here. 47, 48, 48, 46, 44, 47. Look what you do see here. Every single thing is up. Now, I didn't raise the money on this because with the Mag 7, they go back to the last one, and that doesn't have many in it in the Tesla fund. So this is one of their low-paying ones. Look, they had a 7 there. So I mean, this could be 7, but I got them at 8.5. All right. So I got Caputi with being up the most in this group. I raised it up to 35. It hasn't paid 35 here. So that's my logic. Let's do the ditties. The Q, the S, and the R ditties. What do you got for me, ditties? Diddy, diddy, diddy. I got 16 cents on S Diddy. I got 18 cents on Q Diddy and 32 cents on R Diddy. R Diddy was in the red. Got Ulti in the red, guys. Remember the no nav erosion? It's flat to stable to up. Well, that's not holding up over about the last 4 to 5 weeks. However, it is holding the yield strong, right? 80% yield. So I got them. They may go 8.88 or 8.9, but you know what? This is one where I just leave well enough alone. I own this one. So I'm hoping 9 cents. Could they pay in the H? Yeah. But this is really their, besides Misty, this is their most popular fund. It's probably second in assets under management now. It was really shooting up the charts, but people also see the NAV erosion. You got to remember, this was a $20 stock when it came out. All right. But it's yielding, guys. So I think it's in the high 8s to 9 flat to possibly 0.092. All right, I got Chippy up a little with the semis. I'm not just pulling all these out to show you. All right, guys, one more. So 42.48. I'll read you the yield amounts. Now look at this. I got this group without Salty because Salty it wasn't in there. I got them at 931. Maybe I'm a little high there. That's over 8.9 and 8.4. But let's see. All right, what do I got for Salty Dog? Oh, did I even? 0.54566. So let me read you in case you're driving or doing something. So here's my estimate. Aptly, 50 cents, 47.90 yield. Amazon, 46 cents, 38.86. Disney, 27.5-cent payment, 27.5% yield. XYZY, 50 cents, 68.21. I got 12.5 cents for AIYY, a 58.88 yield. I got 91 cents for Misty. Will they break the dollar? 73.75 on the yield. SMCY, $1.04, 85.19 on the yield. YQQQ, the inverse Qs, 18 cents, 18.04 on the yield. Winter, nice job, Winter, $2.54, 100% on the yield. All right, YMAX, 13 cents, 52% on the yield. YMAG, 8.5 cents, 27.89. Leffigy, 47 cents, 66.50. Caputi, 35 cents, 38.81. S Diddy, 16 cents, 18.13 yield. Q Diddy, 18 cents, 20.60 yield. R Diddy, 32 cents, 37.15 yield. Alti, 9 cents, 82.54 on the yield. Awesome. 45 cents for Chippy, 42.48% yield. And the wrap up, Salty, 54.5 cents for a 66.37% yield. All right, peoples, that's what I got for you. Have a great rest of your weekend and a week. I will be talking with you. I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Bye for now.